guys, Ken here, your Thrifty Apprentice, and welcome back to another Thrifty Review. Today we're going to be taking a look at Fantasia Artist Premium Watercolor Pencils. So let's go ahead and jump right into the review. The packaging comes pretty straightforward in a really nice and sturdy tin. It has a matte finish with some really nice artwork going down the center horizon line of the tin. Our Fantasia Artist Premium Watercolor Pencils, 36 watercolor pencils, advertises being soft, scratch-free application, high color concentration, and color dispersed with minimum water. Then there's a little emblem down here letting you know that 100% wood from well-maintained forest. Flipping the package over, more artwork across the top going horizontally. Perfect combination of colors, full water solubility. Fantasia Artist Premium Watercolor Pencils are produced with carefully selected pigments to give high color concentration and perfect water solubility. Colors are also suitable for dry blending, which I tell you guys that all the time in watercolor pencil videos, that you don't necessarily have to have water or add water. You can just blend them dry. This gives the artist the versatility to use different techniques on the same illustration for a stunning effect. The same emblem from the front, Fantasia Pencil AG CH6313, Edlabec, Switzerland. I'm sure I didn't say that right. Made in Indonesia. Conforms to ASTM D4236. So let you know that they are supposedly non-toxic. The pencils come in this tin. I ordered mine from Amazon. They're just wrapped in like clear plastic that's going to be going across the pencils themselves, not across the lid. So that's the packaging, pretty straightforward. Let's take a look at the pencils themselves. Okay, so here, 36 Artist Premium Watercolor Pencils. Apply pencils, dry to paper. The areas intended for watercolor wash can be then dispersed with a light wet paintbrush. So basically it's just telling you how to use the pencils, which is pretty cool to me, because without illustration, it's sort of giving instructions on what to do with the product. It does say avoid dipping the pencils into water, as this will damage the colored lead as well as the pointed wood area. For best results, it is recommended to use a good quality watercolor paper. So it just kind of gives you some techniques for using the pencils. Taking a look at the product itself, it comes in 36 pencils. They are sort of arranged in a rainbow order. They're in this plastic sheet that's holding them, which can be taken out. So you can take that out and put the pencils in there, or use the tin for something else once you've used the pencils. If you decide that you're done with them, I will go ahead and say that they can't be purchased open stock as far as I know. So it's not like once you run out of a pencil, you can just buy an individual pencil to refill it. You would have to buy another complete set as of right now, as far as I know. Now, I'm not very familiar with this company. I did notice that they had both this watercolor pencil set as well as a 36 count color pencil set. And I couldn't find anything larger, so I'm assuming that 36 colors is the complete range of the pencils. Okay, so the barrel of the pencil is circular, so they will roll. There's a gray barrel. There are no color names, but each color, or each pencil, should I say, is numbered. So you can swatch and use the number with the corresponding pencil and color. It says Fantasia Watercolor. It gives the color number. And then it says Premium. And that is all of the information that is listed on the barrel. Now the barrel is capped, so you cannot see the dome and whether or not the pencil is centered. But if you flip the pencil around to the lid side, you can see that the sharpening is diagonal which lets me know that the pencils are probably a little off-centered. And I did notice that that type of sharpening for quite a few of them. But that doesn't necessarily affect the performance. These are just, this is just information I want to give you guys, just in case you're deciding to add these to your collection, and just in case that information is something that, you know, makes a difference for you. So that's pretty much the product packaging and what the physicality of the actual product looks like, straightforward. There is no other listed information on any of this, or that came included with the pencils. Now, the main question for me is, it is advertised as Artist Premium Watercolor Pencils. Is this, or was this truly an artist grade product? Is what I was aiming to find out when I originally purchased these. Now, that was over a year ago. I just got around to testing and using them, but nonetheless, I will go ahead and say straight out the gate, I enjoyed it. Let's take a look at the swatches here. So I swatched the pencils out, and I did it on the paper that I typically use, which I tell you guys to do all the time. So this is 100%, well, I'm sorry, this is 140-pound cold pressed watercolor paper that this is swatched out on. I want to say this is Canson. That's what I want to say it is, or it could be Derwent Academy, but nonetheless, it is watercolor paper. So with each of the squares, or each of the swatch squares here, I laid the pencil color down and dispersed it with water. And then I went back in on the diagonal colored in second layer without dispersing it with the water, just so I could see what the pencils look like with and without water, and what they would look like layered on top of each other with that effect. There is a nice range of colors of, that are given in the 36 count. The colors will mix and blend, so you can use them to create other shades that are not included in the set. Although I will say, you know, as far as the color range go, you do have a pretty decent color range. Some nice reds here, several yellows, orange yellow range. Greens are okay. I wasn't super impressed with the greens. The olive green was okay. There was another green, can't remember if it was 37 or 32, but it had this sort of yucky consistency to it once I added water. So I wasn't really thrilled with that particular aspect. The blues are okay. You got two blues that look like they have a lot of white pigment added to it. An ultramarine looking blue, or maybe there's a cobalt, and then the ultramarine and what should have been a Prussian blue maybe, but they look really close in color to me. Okay on the violets and the indigos. Earth tones, nah, you know, again, colors that kind of look the samey. And then there were two grays. Well, actually, no, that was me. I swatched the gray twice. Okay, that's what that was. So that was on me. But, you know, pretty vibrant colors, for all to be said. The swatch sheet did let me know that the swatches on the end of the barrel was not completely accurate. So I definitely do suggest that you swatch the pencils out when you get them, so that you can get an accurate representation of what each of the colors are going to look like once you do add water to them. But it wasn't off by too much. There's not a huge shift in color vibrancy from wet to dry. When you lay the pencils down, depending on the type of paper you use, they are going to release, the pigment is going to release pretty easily as well. So they are really vibrant and they are really bright. They kind of put me in the mind of some of the artists' watercolor pencils that I already possess. And I'm going to be showing you how they stack up in just a little bit. The colors are pretty transparent. They are pretty bright. I don't think that there's a lot of filler in them, although I'm pretty sure that at the price point that you can get them at is not just like a pure pigment stick. So there's that to think about. The pencils are going to layer pretty well. but they will lift. They will start lifting at somewhere around the third layer. I did notice in some of the paintings, and I'm going to show you some examples of some artwork that I've done with them in order to test them out. So let's take a look at some of that as we continue to talk about the pencils. So the original thing that I did was to just kind of draw out a little flowers. It's sort of a loosen up, breaking out technique that I use for myself, typically with any new art product that I start to use and test out. One of the first things I do is draw a flower with it. So I really wanted to just kind of test the colors, test the vibrancy of them, test to see how they would mix and whether or not they would be chalky, or in whether or not they would create a muddy texture when I started to mix them. Now, I will say that the pencils are not chalky when they dry. Now, in classic watercolor pencil fashion, they don't dry as vibrant as a watercolor would, in my opinion. But then, you know what, I take that back. That really depends on the pencil. We'll talk about that a little later on in videos to come. So anyway, I was able to get some really nice detail with the credit card scraper using these pencils. I was really able to get some really nice detail using the pencils directly on wet paper in order to create harsh and more permanent lines and circles here as far as the center of the flower went. So I was able to get some really good detail with the pencils. The color is pretty rich. You know, it layered on pretty well. This is maybe like 2 layers of color application for each part of the flower. So at this point, I was really enjoying using the pencils, especially after the swatching of them. As you can see, the colors look pretty much like what they are from, and this is it, the dry pencil. So there's a bit of a color shift, but not a huge one. So, you know, I was like, okay. So price point throws me off, but so far the quality is pretty nice considering the different student grade pencils that I have, and you know, the quality of those and how these were stacking up. So I wanted to test the pencils out a little bit more, and I decided to do them in a mixed media fashion. I did a poinsettia. This was one of the Christmas paintings that is available on the channel. You can go back and watch that video if you would like. So the base layer of this painting was done with the watercolor pencils. And I think they performed really well in this aspect. The mixability of the pencils is pretty cool, because I did get the original first 2 layers, I want to say, from the watercolor pencils, if I'm not mistaken. Then, of course, I layered gouache, and then I layered some colored pencils on top of that, because this was one of the Mixed Media Sunday video paintings. But I did want to see how they would lay down and how they would perform mixing in with other products, and I think they did really well. They didn't muddy up anything at all, and they went down really well in color and saturation for a base layer. So I was pretty impressed with the layering and the mixability of the pencils at that point. So then I decided to do a color study where I was going to just use the pencils completely by themselves. And I just did some cherries. I want to see how realistic of a look I could get with just using the pencils. And this was really going to test whether or not I could mix the colors together and really pull off a realistic effect. And the pencils, once again, exceeded my expectations. I was really looking for something to be wrong with the pencils, truth be told. I was trying to find something wrong with them. I was like, there is no way that these pencils are this quality, that they're this transparent, that they're this vibrant, that they layer this well to a certain extent, that they mix this well, and they can be sold for the price that they're sold for. I just didn't understand that they really were stacking up. So from this color study, I decided I would do one other on-screen video with the pencils. And I decided to take this color study of cherries and push it a little bit further and do this composition, which was some cherries hanging from a branch with some flowers. Oh, okay. So this is like 90% Fantasia watercolor pencils and like 10% Arteza watercolor paints. And I used the paints because I wanted to achieve a little bit more of a deeper saturation for contrast in the painting. That's the only reason. Other than that, the pencils were absolutely wonderful in this painting. Again, I used them for the first two base layers. I really only used the watercolor paints, like I said, to punch up the saturation and color. And then I went back on top of that with the pencils in their dry form without using water, in place of using like the King Pro Art color pencil. I actually used the watercolor pencils themselves as the color for the color pencil aspect, and I was impressed, guys. I just have to tell you, I am impressed by these pencils, and I don't know how they're able to be sold at the price point that they are. So as I told you originally, I purchased the pencils about a year ago. I think I told you that anyway, and if I didn't, I'm telling you now, I purchased the pencils about a year ago, and I'm just getting around to using them and testing them and playing with them and really enjoying them, truth be told. I mean, oh, and then the highlights on this was done from gouache. This was done, the highlights were done with Master's Touch gouache, so I did want to point that out. Because the white pencil, I don't even think is that a white pencil? Yeah, I don't even use it. The white pencil to me in this set is not opaque, excuse me, at all. I think I don't know if you can even call it a body white, but it's not really opaque. So anyway, there you have it. That's what I was able to achieve with the pencils. I've used it in different aspects. I've used it on different types of paper. This is one of the better grade student papers. This is Strathmore 400 series, one of their little postcards. I did not test it on 100% watercolor paper. This is as close as I'm going to get to testing it on cotton paper. But the color saturation, again, this is just watercolor pencil. That's it, nothing else. I think this is pretty dang on good color saturation and pigment dispersity. Yeah, I'm on the road. I'm on the side. I'm on the fence. I'm not on the fence. I'm definitely on their side with this particular pencil. I was impressed. So if I was going to stack it up against anything, I would have to say that in comparison against like other artist quality pencils that I have in my possession, the Marco Ruffini, which are supposed to be an artist quality pencil, the color saturation and the vibrancy kind of stack up to each other. I think that the Marco Ruffini are smoother. I really do. I think that they are a smoother pencil. Those pencils were pretty on center, and they didn't wear easily. But of course, that does all depend on the type of paper you're using, because this is swatched on mixed media paper. This is swatched on watercolor paper. This had more sizing and tooth to it, so it grabbed the pencil pigment. It grabbed the pigment from the pencil lead in a heavier concentration than this paper did when I was swatching these pencils. But nonetheless, you can see that the colors are pretty comparable as far as the vibrancy and the color payoff is concerned. Then I also decided, well, I'll take a look and see how they stack up against my favorite watercolor pencil at this particular point, which are my Caran d'Ache. Sorry if I hit that camera. Which are my Caran d'Ache Super Color soft water soluble pencils. And if it's a glare in there, guys, please forgive me for that. But I was like, okay, wait, hold up now, because these colors are nice. I mean, and this is Caran d'Ache, you know. Now, I definitely know without a shadow of a doubt that the Caran d'Ache are a professional grade of watercolor pencils. Caran d'Ache is a very reputable company. They've been around and been producing amazing products for a very long time. And they supplied all of the information to back their claim for this being, their product being a professional grade product up. Which brings me to talking about light fast and pigment information, which is not provided with the Fantasia pencils. There is none on the barrels. There is none on the tin or packaging. I did some Google searching. I was not able to find or obtain any information on the light fast or pigment information. There is no availability as far as I know. So there is where the big question mark comes in for me about this truly being an artist grade product, because color name on the barrels aside, that is kind of common with watercolor pencils. Not being able to have any light fast or pigment information about the product leaves a question mark on me or with me about exactly how artist quality that product is. Eyeballing it against other products, you know, okay, yeah, but information to back it up, that's important to me anyway, especially when it comes down to these reviews and testing and offering this information to you guys so that you can decide whether or not you want to purchase these types of things. Okay, since we're on the purchasing type of thing, let's talk about the price point. I purchased these about a year ago. I do believe I caught them on sale on Amazon. I paid about 20 bucks for them. So I went and did some searching in order to do this review and found out that a year later, they're still pretty much in the same ballpark. Amazon has them for $25.01. Dick Blick had them for $25.74. And we are talking about the 36 count. Walmart had them for $25.19. So all three of those places, Amazon, Blick, and Walmart, they were pretty comparable. Couldn't find them on Jerry's Autorama. So the only other place that I was able to really find them at a cheaper price, I found them for $18.66 at a place called OpenTip.com. Now, basically, I just put the pencil name in the Google search engine, and then once I hit search and got results, I switched the tab over to shopping, and that's when I found this OpenTip.com. Now, I'm not sure if that's a company that is just drop shipping from like Amazon or from somewhere else, but at any rate, the price point on the pencils on this site is only $18.66, but I will tell you to approach that with caution. So with all that said and done, I'm going to put the pencils in a gray area between one of the highest student quality products I've ever seen and one of the one of the most affordable professional grade pencils I've ever seen. I mean, because there are some affordable professional grade products out there. For instance, White Nights. White Nights is a wonderful and bright and vibrant and mixable watercolor brand out of Russia, and their the White Knights are some really affordable professional paints. So that's not to say that those type of products don't exist. I'm just saying that with no light, fast, or pigment information provided at all. Although there are some Caran d'Ache products that don't have it. For instance, their their watercolor crayons, if I'm not mistaken, do not have light, fast information. I may be misquoting. I'm going to have to check that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to check that right here, right now, because I don't want to. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is a Caran d'Ache watercolor crayon. It has the name, but there is no light, fast, or pigment information on that either. The difference being that Caran d'Ache is a trusted and reputable company that has been producing high quality products for a very long time, and Fantasia is a company that I have never heard of that has bust out of the closet proclaiming to be artist quality, or to be a professional product. And I'm just saying that, you know, until you get to Caran d'Ache standards and level, I think you should provide the proof behind the pudding. That's just my opinion. Everything being said in this video is my opinion. And everything being said is based off of the experiences of me painting with and using this product. Getting down to the nitty gritty, even with the qualms I have about the product, I think it is absolutely wonderful. I would recommend it. Be you a professional artist, be you a beginner, be you intermediate level, at the price point, you can't go wrong with these. I can't see anybody not enjoying using them, painting with them, or using them in mixed media or standalone, however you decide to do it. If you're a card maker, you would enjoy using these. I think they would be wonderful for stamping, especially if you're looking for a watercolor effect, to ink your stamp up with them instead of using ink, so that you can just kind of spread the pigment around once you get it on to whatever surface you're stamping on. I think that would be a wonderful use for them. I could see them being a wonderful gift for a beginner artist, or for someone who's just starting out in watercolor pencils and really interested in them. A product that'll be high pigmented enough and well-rounded enough to hold their attention, if it's something that they really want to explore. So there you have it, guys. So my thoughts on this particular product, that is the Fantasia Artist Premium Watercolor Pencils. I definitely recommend them. I say, if you're looking for a watercolor pencil to do anything with, these would be a nice consideration. So if you like any of the information you've heard in this video, if it's going to lend to helping you make a decision about whether or not you're adding this to your art collection, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. You can jump in the comment section and let me know what you thought of the video and the information that is inside these inside this video. I'm sorry. Let me know if you've used the pencils, if you have any experience with them, what that experience is. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and if you know of anybody else, tell them to come on over and subscribe. Let's go ahead and help the channel grow and help the community grow. Don't forget to share the video. Sharing is caring, and it may just touch somebody who needed to be touched. Go ahead and head on over to the Thrifty Apprentice Facebook page. Like us there. Like us on Instagram. You can keep up with the things we do on and off camera. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again here soon. And as I tell you at the end of every video, just keep painting.